Let me ask you something. And I want you to actually think about this, not just let it float past your ears like elevator music. When was the last time you felt truly, completely, 100% alive? Not just existing, not just scrolling, not just going through the motions of waking up, eating, working, sleeping, repeat, like some kind of human screensaver. I'm talking about that electric feeling, that, oh my God, this is why I'm here feeling. Can you remember it? Yeah, that pause you just took, that's important. Hold on to that. Because here's what nobody tells you, and I mean nobody puts this in a graduation speech or a birthday card. Most people are asleep, and they don't even know it. Not physically asleep, you're clearly awake enough to be watching this right now. Good job, by the way. Gold star for you. But mentally, emotionally, purposefully, scientists call it psychological automaticity. I call it the zombie mode. You're walking around, talking, working, texting, laughing at memes, but you are operating on autopilot. And the terrifying part, it feels completely normal. That's the trap. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So buckle up, get your chai, your coffee, your green juice, whatever makes you feel like a functioning adult, because the next 15 minutes might genuinely be the most important conversation you have this year. Let's wake up, for real this time. Your brain is literally designed to keep you asleep. Okay, so here's where it gets wild and also a little bit insulting because science is basically telling us that our brains are kind of working against us. Let me explain. There's a concept in neuroscience called neurological efficiency. It basically means your brain is lazy, not in a bad way, in an energy saving way. Your brain uses about 20% of your body's total energy, even though it's only 2% of your body weight. It's basically that one colleague who eats the most at office lunch but does the least work. You know the type. So, to save energy, your brain starts to automate everything it can. Brush teeth, automated. Drive to work, automated. Respond to how are you with fine thanks, highly automated. Nobody is ever just fine, by the way. We all know this. The problem is this same automation starts applying to your life decisions. Your career path, automated. Your relationships, automated. Your dreams, slowly, quietly automated into oblivion. There's a Harvard study that found humans spend nearly 47% of their waking hours thinking about something other than what they're actually doing. Almost half your life, you're mentally somewhere else. And the study found, here's the kicker, this mental wandering makes people unhappy. Not the hard times, not the failures, just the mindless drifting. Think about that. You're not unhappy because life is hard. You're unhappy because you're not present in your own life. That's not a motivational poster quote. That's Harvard data, my friend. And then, oh, it gets better. There's something called the default mode network. It's the part of your brain that activates when you're doing nothing meaningful. It's your brain's version of a screensaver. And guess what it loves to do? Ruminate, overthink, replay embarrassing moments from 2014. Why did I say that at that party? Yeah, your brain literally has a department dedicated to making you cringe about the past and worry about the future, specifically when you're not doing anything purposeful. The solution? Wake up, be intentional, engage fully. Simple, not easy, but simple. And that brings me to a story. The man who lost 10 years without knowing it. I want to tell you about a guy. Let's call him Rohan. Because Rohan sounds like a guy who had it all figured out and then absolutely did not. Rohan was 25, smart kid, good job, decent salary, nice apartment with a very aesthetic indoor plant that he kept forgetting to water, but still it looks good in pictures. He had plans, big ones. He was going to start his own business, learn Spanish, travel to at least 5 countries, write a book, fall deeply, dramatically in love like it was a Bollywood movie. He just needed the right time. I'll start when things settle down. I'll begin after this project ends. I'll figure it out once I have more money saved. And here's the thing about waiting for the right time. It's like waiting for the bus in a city that doesn't have buses. It is never coming. Days became weeks, weeks became months. That indoor plant died twice. He bought a new one, it also died. And one morning, Rohan is now 35. He's sitting in the same chair at basically the same job in a slightly bigger apartment, and he looks at his phone and sees a photo of himself from 10 years ago. Same smile, same eyes, same potential. And he feels this absolutely devastating thought land in his chest like a stone. What did I do with that time? Not dramatically, no movie music, no lightning bolt, just a quiet, heavy Tuesday morning realization that somewhere between convenience and comfort, he had traded his dreams for his routines. And the worst part? Nobody forced him. No villain, no tragedy, just the slow, comfortable, painless theft of his own life by his own choices. Now, happy ending incoming, don't worry. Rohan didn't give up. He didn't spiral. He actually used that Tuesday morning devastation as fuel. But that pivot, that decision to actually wake up, it cost him 10 years to get there. You don't have to pay that price. You're watching this right now. That is your moment. Except you get to have it 10 years earlier than Rohan did. You're basically getting a cheat code. You're welcome. Now we will talk about why your brain hates change and how to outsmart it. Let's talk about why change is so hard. Because if waking up was easy, everyone would be fully awake, right? We'd all be out here living our best, intentional, purpose-driven lives, and nobody would ever waste a Sunday doing absolutely nothing productive while saying, "I'll start Monday." But here's the science behind the resistance. Your brain has something called the amygdala, the emotional alarm system, and it is terrified of change. Not because change is bad, but because your amygdala literally cannot tell the difference between "this might kill me" and "this new career path feels scary." To your primal brain, both are threats. Both activate the same panic response. This is called status quo bias, the psychological preference for keeping things as they are, even when change would clearly make things better. There was a famous study by psychologist Daniel Kahneman, Nobel Prize winner, so we can trust this guy, who found that the pain of losing something feels twice as powerful as the joy of gaining something equivalent. Translation: losing your comfortable routine feels twice as bad as gaining your dream life feels good. Your brain is literally running a rigged emotional math equation against your own ambitions. And that's why people stay in jobs they hate, in relationships that drain them, in cities that suffocate them, in lives that are fine but never extraordinary. Because the discomfort of change feels more real than the discomfort of staying stuck, until one day it doesn't anymore, until one Tuesday morning like Rohan. So how do you outsmart your own brain? 3 things, and these are actually backed by behavioral science. First, make the cost of staying visible. Don't just dream about the future you want. Write down, physically write, what your life looks like in 5 years if you change nothing. Be honest, be brutal. That picture, that's your real competition, not some guy on Instagram with a yacht. Second, shrink the change. Your brain hates big leaps. It loves tiny steps. Stanford psychologist B.J. Fogg calls this tiny habits. You don't need to overhaul your entire life on a Monday. You need to do one thing differently today. One email sent, one page read, one conversation started. Third, use identity language. Don't say, "I'm trying to be disciplined." Say, "I am a disciplined person." The language you use about yourself literally rewires your neural pathways. This isn't manifestation mumbo jumbo. This is actual cognitive psychology. The stories you tell yourself become the life you live. The alarm clock nobody wants to hear. Let me introduce you to a concept that the ancient Stoics used. And trust me, these were some of the most psychologically sophisticated humans who ever lived. Memento Mori. It's Latin. It means remember that you will die. Now, before you click away thinking, okay, this got dark fast, stay with me, because this is actually the most liberating idea I'm going to share today. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, they weren't morbid people. They were some of the most productive, purposeful, emotionally intelligent leaders in human history. And their secret weapon was regularly reminding themselves that time is finite. Seneca wrote, and this man was writing 2,000 years ago, but it sounds like he was describing our exact modern crisis. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a great deal of it. Read that again. He didn't say life is short. He said we waste it. There's a massive difference. And here's the funny, not funny part. We all know life is short. It's practically a bumper sticker. Life is short, eat the cake. Sure, cute. But knowing something intellectually and feeling it operationally are completely different things. Most people live as if they have unlimited tomorrows, as if there will always be a better time to start, as if the life they actually want is waiting in some future version of themselves who is mysteriously more ready, more confident, more financially stable, more everything. That future version isn't coming to save you. You are that person, right now, imperfect, unready, and absolutely capable. The alarm has been ringing. You've been hitting snooze. This, right here, right now, is the alarm, and it's time. Now we will talk why society wants you half asleep. That is, the society mirror. Here's something nobody talks about, and it's going to sound slightly conspiracy theory-ish, but stay with me because it's absolutely true. Society is not designed to make you fully awake. Think about it. The entire attention economy, social media, streaming platforms, endless news cycles, is literally engineered by some of the most brilliant behavioral scientists and psychologists on the planet. And their one job is to keep you engaged, which is a polite word for distracted. Every notification, every autoplay, every algorithmic rabbit hole, it's not accidental, it's architecture. Nye Ayal, a Silicon Valley product designer turned author, literally wrote a book called Hooked about how to engineer habit-forming products that pull you back compulsively. And then, because presumably he felt guilty, he wrote a second book called Indistractable about how to escape the systems he helped build. That's like a fast food chain selling you a burger and then selling you a gym membership, which, now that I think about it, is basically exactly what's happening. The point isn't to make you angry at technology. The point is this: the default setting of modern life is distraction. The default is consumption over creation, reaction over intention, scrolling over living. Being awake, truly, intentionally, purposefully awake, is now a countercultural act. It requires choosing discomfort over comfort, depth over dopamine, silence over stimulation. And the people who make that choice, they're the ones building things, creating things, living things, while everyone else is watching. Which side of that line do you want to be on? Okay, enough philosophy, enough psychology. Let's get practical, because inspiration without action is just entertainment. And you didn't come here to be entertained. You came here to change something. So here's your actual wake-up plan. 5 things. Do them. Not all at once. Remember, tiny habits. 1. Do a life audit. Sit down seriously for 20 minutes this week. Write 3 columns. What's draining me? What's fulfilling me? What I keep avoiding. The pattern in those columns, that's your map. 2. Kill one comfort that's holding you. Not all of them, just one. Maybe it's the hour of mindless scrolling before bed. Maybe it's the habit of saying yes to things you don't actually want. One comfort. Kill it. Replace it with something that builds you. 3. Tell someone your goal. Out loud, not in your head, not in a private journal. Tell a real human what you're going to do. The psychology of public commitment is powerful. It activates your identity and your accountability at the same time. 4. Schedule your future self. Put something in your calendar this week. One thing that future you will thank present you for. A class booked, a conversation scheduled, a page of something written. Evidence that you're moving. 5. Stop waiting to feel ready. Ready is a feeling that comes after you start, not before. Nobody who ever did something brave felt completely ready first. They started scared. They stayed anyway, and the feeling caught up. The life you want is not behind some magical door that opens only when you've reached some invisible threshold of readiness. The door is already open. You just have to walk through it. The last thing I want to tell you. I want to end with something simple. Not a quote, not a statistic, just a truth. Somewhere in your life, maybe buried under years of busyness, maybe hidden under the weight of what other people expected of you, maybe quietly waiting under the routines and the responsibilities and the reasons you gave yourself for why not yet, there is something you were meant to do, a thing you keep coming back to in your mind, a life that feels more like you than the one you're living. And every day you delay, not because you can't, but because it's uncomfortable, because it's uncertain, because it requires you to be brave in a world that keeps rewarding you for being small. Every day you delay, that version of you gets a little quieter. Don't let it go silent. You are not too late. You are not too old. You are not too broken. You are not too far behind. You are exactly here, and here is where it starts. Wake up. Not with an alarm, with a decision. Make it today. I'll see you in the next video. And if this hit you differently, drop awake in the comments because I actually read them, every single one. Take care of yourself and go live like you mean it. If this video added something to your day, share it with one person who needs to hear it. Just one. You might not know it, but that share could be someone's moment. Subscribe if you haven't. We talk about real things here. Psychology, life lessons, self-growth, the kind of stuff that actually matters. I'm Tara. Stay awake. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.